Chris Drive, Los Altos. Yeah. So, I lived here a long time ago when I got out of business school. And they've even remodeled the house I used to live in. But anyway, I was going to go in Los Altos Hills and talk about some things. But I felt compelled to film a tribute to Steve Jobs right here and right now. Because I remember living on Chris Drive here in Los Altos, and one time I walked down the street and I met this really nice older man. I think he's living by himself, really nice guy, and his last name was Jobs. And then I started talking to him, and sure enough, his son was Steve Jobs. And Steve was adopted, so was his adoptive father, and he talked about what a wonderful boy Steve was. And he said, "Hey, you want to see the garage where he started Apple Computer?" And I said, "Sure, Mr. Jobs, I'd love to." And so it's one of these three houses in here, but he took me in and showed me the garage, and it was very organized, and with those red toolboxes and everything. And he just, he loved it when Steve would come and visit him, and Steve's always been a workaholic or just somebody so passionate about things that he's very busy. But I remember personally seeing his, I think it was a red Porsche, driving down the street with that Steve Jobs hair, visiting his dad. And so, you know, there's all kinds of stories about Steve Jobs, I'm sure, but I just want to say my personal thing from living on Chris Drive for a little while and talking to his dad, that he was a great son. Dad was super proud of him. And I just want to talk a little bit about Steve. Never worked for Apple. Sold a lot of Apple computers, sold a lot of iPhones when I was selling those things. But the technology, I've just loved it. I've used iMovie and iDVD, and just the emotional things you can create, motivational things, just the fantastic creativity that's been unleashed with the products of Apple Computer. And then what Steve did, you know, starting it, and then remember watching Professional Management, John Scully, who was a great guy, did a great job managing Pepsi, did some good things at Apple at the same time, didn't have the vision of Steve Jobs, even though I think John Scully is an excellent manager, but at Apple it requires a different breed. And Steve got back into that company after doing that thing with the Ross Perot. But Steve's not only a creative genius along with the other Steve Wozniak, but just the passion to create those products that have changed the world, I think, more than any other computer company by far. Steve, I know you're sick right now. We're about the same age, and actually both grew up here in Los Altos. But Steve, I don't know if you'll see this or not, but all you people that love Apple computers, it's a passion. It's like a religion. Steve rocks. Steve's a fantastic, fantastic individual, and what he did for the world, it changed the world. I know it changed my life. Continues to do so. I still use, and I will use to actually launch this video, I'll use iMovie and compress with QuickTime and some other things. So Steve, God bless you. I hope it goes well for you. Thanks for everything you have done for millions and millions of us. Okay?